How are you? How's your week going? I hope all is well with you. Things are good with me. I am happy to be back from Georgia and settled back into the homeschooling thing. It's so funny how affected we are by our childhood. I feel like it's such an honor for me to be homeschooling my grandkids because childhood is something else. Boy, we make up our minds about a lot of stuff that affects us for the rest of our lives in childhood. And so I'm glad to be helping them make up their mind in a positive way, hopefully. Um, let's see. The thing I want to talk about this week is being a victim. I remember in childhood, which this is what brought the subject of childhood up. Uh, I remember thinking, my parents were in the ministry and they would bring, people would come to our house for counseling or for prayer or whatever. And they'd be there one week talking about their husband, and then my parents would pray with them and counsel them. And they'd come home the next week talking about the same problem or another problem. And I started thinking, you know what? It isn't so much the problems in your life, it's that you people are just victims. You sit around and let yourself get beat up by everybody, and you don't do what you have to do to fight back. Or I just thought, I'm not going to be a victim. I will never be a victim. It's pathetic, and I don't want to be like that. And it's funny because the enemy uses everything to trap us and trick us. And so I became a victim of him in the sense that I thought, I'm not going to be a victim. And so I began to rebel against everything. It was like, if you were trying to make me do this, I was going to fight back because these people weren't fighting back, is what my mind said. And so I fought back against everything. And it ultimately made me a victim of the enemy, and it made me a victim of Texas. And that was a bad person to be a victim of because Texas thought she had it all figured out and was going to work everything her own way. And, no matter how much sense it wasn't making, if it made sense to Texas, it was enough. And so I spent 28 years in a very messy life. And it was very hard for me to find my way out of that because I didn't know how to not be a victim in a positive way. I thought being a victim was, we're a victim of things. We're going to be a victim of things. We're a victim of emotions. We're a victim of salespeople who fool us. We're a victim of our childhood. We're a victim of all kinds of stuff that goes on around us that we have absolutely no control over. People take advantage of us. People take advantage of everyone. It's almost like what the world is based on. How can we take advantage of this person? It's the way the world works. Is it right? No. Can you keep yourself from being a victim of some things? Yes, you can. But everyone's been a victim of something in their lifetime, even if it was just themselves. It happens. But the problem isn't whether you're going to be a victim or not. The problem is, how am I going to respond when someone takes advantage of me? Am I going to get beat up and down in the mouth and upset and discouraged and defeated? Or am I going to get angry and bitter and vengeful and try to get over on them or pay them back or whatever it is your mind, tells you? Different people react different ways. We have different emotions and personalities, and we take things differently. But the problem, the solution is none of those things. The solution is to say, okay, this happened. I got taken advantage of, but I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to forgive that person, and I'm going to move on. Listen, unforgiveness will keep you trapped. It's terrible. It's worse than being a victim, I promise you. You'll be a victim of unforgiveness. Unforgiveness keeps you angry. It keeps you in the problem instead of in the solution. And I want to be a person who remains in the solution. You can be a person who remains in the solution. Don't let yourself think too much about what's wrong. Start thinking about, what can I learn from this? How can I keep this from happening again? What did I learn from this? Why was it necessary for me to go through this? Whatever it is that's happening. Every situation you find yourself in is for the purpose of drawing you closer to God. If you do not know who God is or do not have a relationship with God, all you got to do is start asking, God, if you're real, show yourself to me. I'm not sure about this, but I need you to help me figure out if this is true or not. Or if you do have a relationship with God, or you've asked Jesus into your heart and you have grown away from that, it's not God that moved, it's you that moved. All you got to do is get back in touch. All you got to do is say, I'm sorry I moved away from you, Lord. Help me get back. It's an easy thing to do. Listen, there's a God who's not a victim of anything, who wants to help you to become the best you that you can be, who wants to help you to get over the things that have the people that have taken advantage of you and the things that have gone wrong in your life, who wants to help you walk into a new place and a new way of living. He does exist. If you're not sure about that, ask him to prove himself to you, and he will. So don't be a victim this week of circumstances and situations and emotions. And if you find yourself on the other end of somebody who's taking advantage of them, get up, forgive them, and move on. That's the best thing to do. See you guys next week.